And we are live. We are live. Things are going well. We have sound absolutely amazing. All right. Welcome to the Nexus. James the Idol Smasher at gmail.com, at the Idol Smasher, and the Orphan Survivor Ham on Facebook. This is the Nexus, a weekly serious yet informal Torah, Bible, biblical discussion. And taking your chats here. We've got, we're going to go here in the sidebar over here. And you'll see a link. That link is Rumble Studio link, which will get you in the conversation. And you can join every Thursday, 8 p.m. right here on Rumble. We also live stream to YouTube and X as well. If you're watching on X, get on over to Rumble. You can get that link because they don't post to X yet from Rumble. Facebook, we were live on Facebook for some time. That got us a lot of views. We don't see, we can't get that ready either. They're still working on a way to link up Rumble and Facebook once again. But you can check that out over there in the chat right here. You'll see it. Can't miss it. Rumble Studio. Down below in the description, both YouTube and Rumble, you'll also find a link to this week's Parshat. It's a double Parsha today. 2 for the price of 1. Tazria-Metzora. Both will be discussed here tonight to some degree. And of course, we'll have a Haftorah reading. John can't make it this week. Sadly, he's under the weather. And on Rosalie's end, she is also technically under weather, having some electrical issues up there in the great state of Michigan. So hopefully we'll get them in here as well. And you, always welcome. Just hit that link. Come on in. You don't need a camera if you don't want to be on air, but we can certainly take your questions, comments, compliments, complaint, suggestions. Always happy to have your suggestions here on the Nexus. So don't be afraid. Come in here and talk. We like any faith, any kind of people who want to engage in anything related to the Torah. And you're going to be talking to a non-Jew. And if we get a couple other people, we might get a couple Jews in here. It's not like it hadn't been done in the past 10 years. It does happen. But generally, we're a Noahide bunch. And Ben Noah, Ger. And so that's that on the Nexus. Join us at any time. We'll get to memes of the week here in a little bit. But I got me a new book. Finally got this book. And I look forward to reading it. Right now we're in Leviticus, Vayikra, but then we have Bamidbar. I just got this in the mail finally. Ooh, this is the Dennis Prager Rational Bible, Numbers, God and Man in the Wilderness. And that's really what Bamidbar means, in the wilderness. It doesn't mean numbers. I know that the church calls it numbers, and we call it numbers in the West. It's a Christian term, but this is good stuff. This is a great series. I think this might just be a little bit bigger. I haven't compared them to the other two right now. We're waiting on Leviticus, and what's the other one we need? We need Leviticus, we got Numbers, and then we've got Genesis, Exodus, Deuteronomy. So 2 more to come out, and hopefully we're going to get them soon. I hope Mr. Prager, you are doing well. He had a not so happy fall, but he's getting back in there. He'll be on the radio pretty soon, and PragerU.com, good place to go and give a donation. They could really use your help as well. I joined a group on Facebook, and it's called the Noahide Debates, and it's pretty much what it's about. It's like, what's their debate on Noah? Trust me, there's a lot to debate on. And I hate to say it like this, but a lot of ignorance. It's not like people know about this Noahide thing. People hear Noahide, sounds like a tree. Is that a wood? That's what I hear people say, Noahide. Nagahide, get it? It's funny stuff. Well, what I want to get to is the and I want to clear stuff up, and there might be some Noahides out there that need this cleared up as well. It's the same perspective I had when I came to it, a little bit more because I came from a mystical aspect, from a martial art training perspective. I approached Torah, I think, from a little the other way around that a lot of people come to Judaism, and that was by way of a more mystical approach. And then I went into serious Torah study after that. But just something I want to bring up. Some of the misconceptions about the Noahide laws is that one guy brought up, and it was a good question, but he he was leaning to something else. He's one of those, he wasn't asking out of a sincere. He just he and he was trying to have a gotcha moment. Ooh, got you there. Ooh, see how stupid you are for believing what you believe. One, if there's Noahidism, it's wrong. People often think that the Noahide code, or being a Noahide, is a belief system. Trust me, it is not a belief system. I'm not a belief guy. I really don't like belief because my beliefs change quite a bit. My beliefs will change twice in a day. At one time I really want to help out my fellow man. I really want to reach out. I look for people to give tzedakah to on the street, or I just can't wait to help an old lady cross the street, and then I might in 2 hours turn and say screw the species. I'm talking about the human one, by the way. So my beliefs change on a dime, and my beliefs change over time as well. So I don't like beliefs. A good line from the movie Dogma. It's a Kevin Smith movie that kind of takes the piss out of Catholicism in many ways, but in a very endearing way. It's called Dogma. And Chris Rock's character, he's the 13th apostle. Okay. And it's funny. It's good stuff. And he says, beliefs aren't that great. Believing isn't great, but to have a good idea. And that was, in my opinion, it was, a really great perspective on things we call belief. The Noahide code, being a Noahide, is not a belief system. There's nothing you need to believe. It's about action. It has nothing to do with what's in your mind while you're doing it, so long as you're doing it. You might want to kill the guy, but you don't. You could be angry enough that you could punch him and break his face, and you don't. You withhold it. Okay? You really want that chocolate bar and you're broke, but you really want that chocolate bar, and you walk out broke without a chocolate bar. That's good. Not stealing, not murdering. Oh, you didn't rip the leg off a donkey and eat it today. Congratulations, you've achieved a Noahide law. Okay. There's nothing to believe. Another one is the historicity of the Noahide code, and I can understand this. I can sympathize to some degree. There is no historicity to the Noahide code. Even though in the Bible it says, this was the foundational covenant between man and God, from Noah, his sons, and their children till the end of the earth. This law applies to everyone at all times. So, one of the mistakes is folks will try to find, or will see a lack of evidence of the 7 laws as a list, because, that's the one thing Christians like to do and non-believers. Well, where's the list? Like the 10 Commandments. I don't see a list, therefore it doesn't exist. They see it. They want a list. They want to see some society in the ancient world, or even in the not so ancient world, that would have a knowledge of the Noahide code. And why didn't anybody follow it? And obviously it doesn't exist because we can't find it anywhere. What I need to clue everybody in on is forget your history right now. It comes from Torah and nowhere else. The written Torah. We can do it's an oral tradition, one. And we got a good 1,000 years between Abraham and over 1,000 years between Abraham and Sinai, or the Exodus. So, by the way, today we are counting the Omer. Blessed are you, O Lord our God, ruler of the universe, who commands us to count the Omer, or at least for Israel to count the Omer. Today it's 2 weeks and 4 days. Oh my goodness! See, now I doubt myself here. I'm just gonna ask Rabbi Google here. Just in case I'm wrong. The sun's not down here yet, so it's 18 days. 2 weeks, 4 days. Hey, I had it right. Since the Omer, and we're counting the days between the Exodus and the giving of Torah. So, 40 days. 40-day journey. So, okay. So, it all comes from the Torah. Nothing else. You're not going to find it anywhere else. It only comes in Torah. It's only in Judaism, and you're going to have to deal with that. It's a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow, that you're not given just history in Genesis. You're talking about origins. It's the origin of many, many, many things. It's brilliant. It's beyond brilliant. But I can't, to use a very human, very um, earthy term. It's not a normal text, but that's where Noahide law comes from. It doesn't come from the rabbis. Where do you think the rabbis? They didn't come up with it on their own, or it's rabbinical interpretation. Oh, you mean the people who read the text in its language that it was originally written in, study it in that text, and come to conclusions that everybody agrees on that you can't deny. So it's just a rabbinical interpretation. I'm nothing. No, it's all in written Torah. Every last Noahide principle is in Noahide Torah, Noahide law, in the Torah. Period. It doesn't exist anywhere else. You're not going to find it anywhere else. You can find remnants of it. For the most part, unless you're Korea and eat live squid, which is terrible, horrible, and disgusting, most civilizations find animal cruelty to be abhorrent. Okay, the kindness, the proper treatment of animals and nature is pretty much ubiquitous throughout mankind. Sexual immorality, although we have crazy stuff, I know we can always look and find the crazies, and in this day and age, you don't have to look far. But yes, sexual immorality, adultery, it's a no-no in almost all societies. Murder, theft, same thing. Setting up courts, fair and balanced courts of justice. That's what most civilizations do. They're not always right. We all have our faults. And this is where religions like Islam are very judicial oriented in many ways. I would say Islam, but at least the Muslims in the religion. I say Islam, it might be scary because there's a radical element that's in our faces at the moment. I don't think that it represents all Muslims. And Christians, on the other hand, it's a bit different because Christians for 1,000 years were raised under a boot on your neck form of government where they just judge you, and they wound up judging each other that way. That's where you got witch burnings. Oh, she had a dream? Oh, what happened? Oh, she went and had an affair, or met up with the bricklayer over here in the next town, and suddenly a crop went bad. So it must have been you. You're a witch. We're going to burn you alive as a favor. So, I put a meme up earlier. I don't have it here now, but it was Christian compassion will lead to Christian destruction. You can't be compassionate all the time. There must be a balance. And while modern Christendom rejects the old ways and set up fairer courts than you're going to find in a lot of places in the world, let's face it, we're all forgiven. Everybody's forgiven. All you have to do is it's not enough to just, pray that you be forgiven. You have to actually never do it again before your forgiveness is actually considered forgiveness. There's a lot more, and because they don't want to be Jewish, they want to be the opposite of Jewish. They're the salvation of the Jews. They're the new Jews. They're grafted into the Jews. They're God's new favorites. Not that Islam folks, they're the new improvement. No, they're not the new improved. We're the new improved. Well, the Christians need to open your eyes, use your brains, and follow Torah. And one of those is to set up fair and balanced courts of justice. And baby, that slips through the Christian hands like you wouldn't believe, because they're all about forgiveness of sin, and that's about it. Not a balance of sin in the world. And although you'll see them wear their back the blue, and they'll throw up the Constitution picture, or they'll have Old Glory. Where is Old Glory? I didn't get her out again today. I should have her here over my left shoulder. Here we go. Sorry, sweetheart. I usually fly you outside, but I forget to set you up in here some days. So I want you here. You're not going to be. I don't have a proper flagpole for you yet, but we'll get you there. They'll put Old Glory up, and it's good. I get that, and we want that. But on faith, you need to get off your faith and get back on fair and balanced courts of justice. Look at America. Look at how they rule. If you think that's bad, look at Canada. That's some serious hokey BS. We got a lot of hokey BS in America too, especially in the UK, in Britain. Some Europeans, like Poles and the Hungarians, are they caught on to this thing, but not Britain. No, not the UK. The sun done set on that country a long time ago, and sadly, I think they had it coming. So another misinterpretation. Well, okay. To put it mildly, you're not going to find history. It's not about history. It's about the Torah. And I think this is where another mistake or another unintended consequence is that the Jews and the Noahides, I'd say a good deal of the rabbis out there have because I don't think that it's this way like in classes. I've never personally been I've been in one rabbi's class that, yeah, there's definitely an elitism going on. And they are definitely consider themselves the elite of the Noahides. I've been to a few of his classes. I'm not going to mention the rabbi's name. He's not a bad person, and we've got a couple of mutual friends, I think. But it's like, yeah, you're going to get these guys that feel they're the superior Noahides. Another unintended consequence. It's all about the division of Israel and the Ger. It's all about we've pushed the idea because we don't want everybody bringing their idols in. And yeah, it's like Rabbi Singer says, if you've been smoking in your car for the entire 8-hour trip, and then you get out and walk into a room, everyone's going to know you smoke. You'll think you just wash this off in the wind between your car and the front door, but everyone's going to smell you. And it's what's kind of like with Noahides coming out of idolatry. Certain habits, certain notions, certain questions. And I can understand why they would want to keep it separate, but what they're not teaching you as Noahides and what they're not realizing themselves is that these people, a lot of them ex-Christians, some of them ex-Muslims, some of them ex-atheists, come to Jerusalem, come to the people of Israel to learn the Torah. And they click, it gets it, they get it, and they come, and they want to get closer to God, and they want to do better in this world. This bunch comes to you, Jew, and the Jew says, no, you stay over there. You pat you on the head. You go play in the traffic, okay? We get you. We see you. Aren't you cute? Now, bye-bye now. Go run along. You're not Jewish, so you need to stay over there on the other side of that chasm we've dug here. Enjoy it. You can swim in the moat, but don't come up on our side. You go over and play in the traffic now. You're just a Noahide with all the other people of the world. You're out there with the Buddhists. You're out there with the idol worshippers. Okay, you're out there with secularism and paganism. You're out there with them. You're not one of us. Now, you have to realize that now that you've accepted 7 laws, you've accepted the Torah. No, you're over there. Okay, you're one of them. I can understand you want to give that message to people who are far flung from Israel, who are far flung from God, who are far flung from the Bible and what it teaches. You need to give a message like that because now that you're out there, here's something to bring you closer, but you're coming closer to God. The Jews are supposed to build a house for all nations, okay? A nation of kings and priests. That means they're here for you and me. And it's that separation that causes a lot of people to inadvertently create new religions. I don't think Noahides actually create new religions, but they certainly make up new faiths. They certainly make up new political views. They certainly have an odd view of history. And it's not their fault. And you have, Jews who are like, oh, you're Noahide, isn't that sweet? It's not like, one of my first rabbis that I was able to sit down and seriously study Torah with, Rabbi W. Yitzchak. He was kind enough to let me in his class years ago. And he said, you're with us, okay? You don't go back where you're from. You don't go back to the church. You don't go back to secularism. You're with us now. You're Ger Toshav. You're with us. And those were his words. And man, I got so much flack, and apparently the man got so much flack for saying that. I bragged about it. I told everybody on Facebook, hey, guess what I learned? It backfired big time. And then when Rabbi Katz, here's another book I was checking out the other day. I still love this book. I still dig this book. I've read it a couple times. I still go back to it. The source is alone, but Rabbi Katz, or Rabbi Chlorphine, Rabbi Katz's a book, World of the Ger, that came out and, became the most, the number one Kabbalah book on Amazon. It was a bestseller, is what that was. And, man, yeah, a few rabbis who wrote books that didn't sell that much had a big spaz, and we're still getting repercussions. I get the same old tired article from 7-8 years ago. Leading rabbis. You might love your rabbi, but don't you ever think that a rabbi is more better than the other. You'll know a rabbi who's better than the other. Chances are you're probably reading about them and they're dead. No rabbi is more rabbi than the others. Unless you're Reform, you should be punished severely for calling yourself a Jew. You heard me. Something else I don't like, atheist Jews. I was sick of them 10 years ago and I was told you don't want to say that in public. I'll say it now. I can't stand an atheist Jew. Nothing's worse in this world, except maybe root canal on espresso, than an atheist Jew. Golly, these people just frustrate the ever-loving tar out of me. Just want to drop kick them. Back to Israel and make them learn something. By the way, Jew, go home. I love you. I love you. Jew, go home where you belong. Okay. So, yeah, that's what you're doing. You're attaching yourself to Israel. You're going to Torah. You're not keeping the ancient law that everyone once knew and all forgot about. It doesn't exist. That history doesn't exist. It's nowhere. Maybe it's somewhere dug up and we can find it. The only place you're going to find it is the Torah, the Jewish Torah. In the Jewish religion, the Jewish philosophy, Jewish teachers, Jewish sages, Jewish rabbis, and Moshe Rabbeinu, a Jew with an Egyptian name. That's it. You're not going to find that anywhere else. You are attaching to Israel. When you come to God via Torah, you are attaching to Israel. You're coming to them, and Jews, you're going to have to deal with it because there's a lot more of us are going to be coming that way. Not yet. Thanks to Colombia. Okay, speaking of Colombia and all things woke, memes of the week. Here we go. We're just going to start with this one because you can't spell. Okay, do you have children? Do we have any children listening? No children? Get your kids out of the room. Get your kids out of the room. You can't spell cunt without UN, okay? Speaking of the tolerant and the woke, and yeah, this is you. This is you. This one goes along with that. I think this one should have been first. This is the American school district. This is American teaching. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. Gen X are the stupidest parents to have ever lived since the time they were burning witches. You are the stupidest, worst parents ever. Your kids actually believe a man can become a woman. Jews are colonialist Nazis. You're stupid. And your kids are stupider. Trust me. I've seen them. It's a shame. It's a shame. But the stuff I get from young people, oh, man. Wow. Thank goodness Gen Z seems to be getting their act together a little more than those millennials did. Here's to Gen Z, y'all. Here's a kosher brew. Cheers for you. Here's to you. And build a good world. Stick to God's plan. Keep the 7 and more. Do good in the world because we failed. Post-war America is a big failure in a lot of ways. Oh, speaking of which, why would post-World War II America be a failure? This is why right here. Again, it's the forgiveness attitude. Oh, well, he's a commie, but you have a right to be a communist. You have the right to plan to overthrow the government. Why? You're talking, these kids on these campuses who death to America, side with America's enemies. And then you've got every libertarian and liberal out there. Well, you just send somebody away from the words they say. Did he rape the kid? No, but he was talking to the kid about raping him, so he arrested him. You have violated his First Amendment rights. Here we go. How do we deal with that group? How do we deal with the bunch, the T's and beyond? LGB, we're fine. These T's and everything that comes with them, the worst, the absolute worst. And let me tell you something, gay folks, especially gay men, not happy at all. I don't hear a lot. I hear less from the lesbians online, or I see less videos that are disappointed. But a few, it's like, yeah, they know what a woman is. The T's don't. And your stupid kids don't either if you're an American. Okay, because and that press. Okay, now one more thing. There was a girl, and I saw this from a friend of mine, an old friend of mine from the old school, and he puts up there this story about a girl who was Jewish and had an Israeli passport and was standing up for Palestinian rights, and they arrested her for no good reason. They're eating their own kind now. See how stupid Republicans are? Well, this is her getting arrested. Oh, you shouldn't be happy about someone else's misfortune. This is her good fortune. I'm laughing at this fact that this woman's walking out beat up with a kippah on after harassing Jews at a synagogue. Pissed her pants. Ha! That's the best thing I've seen in a long time, besides the news that the Israeli fires are finally under control. Yeah, but that's good. This is goodness. It's not her misfortune. That's the best thing that could have happened to her. Certainly more merciful than I would have been. Okay, moving right along. Next topic. You can join. Would love to have you here. The link is over here in the chat on both YouTube and Rumble. Would love to hear from you. I was hoping to have more folks in here, but hey, if you want to talk to this fat old man, would love to hear from you. Okay, why am I so easy on the Christians? Why am I so easy on the Christians? I couldn't help it, guys. Sorry. Come on, that's funny. That's funny. Hey, there's no sacrifice without that, right? Okay. All right. Okay. So remember, you can always leave a suggestion. So, why am I so easy on the Christians? My wife is like, hey, he's easy on the Christians. I married a Christian woman, good woman. Okay. Christian family, Midwest Christian family. I mean, real Midwest, not Ohio. Ohio, you are not the Midwest. We've got the Pacific Ocean now. You're Easterners. I'm in Kansas. That's Midwest. Okay. Midwest in Pennsylvania. He called people in Georgia Confederates. Mitch McConnell does. He calls everybody down there the Confederate states, and the Union states, the Confederate states have different voting habits. So, not going to convert. Okay, I respect that. There's no command in the Bible that says you must marry a Noahide. You must marry a Ben Noach. There aren't any. If there was a Noahide dating site, it'd be gone in a year because they'd all marry, get done with it. That's it. No, there'd be nobody left. So, I'm also an American. I'm very American, and so there's a picture of me on Christmas wearing a Santa hat while the kids are opening their presents, and I've gotten flack from that. I actually had to block a guy. You're not Jewish. You can't do that. You can't. You're not. You're not. He says you're not Jewish, but I know what he meant. I have never been easy on the Jesus idol, the dead man on a stick. I don't believe in bowing down to that. I think it's sick and disgusting. You'll see me maybe wearing a Santa hat during a Christmas party at work, okay? You might even see reindeers on my head, whatnot, and I have been known to get gifts. And I receive gifts, and I don't spit in their eye. I'm not a Christian. Who are you? I'm a Noahide. Look, ask me about Easter. I won't even eat the candy. I won't participate in an Easter egg hunt. I'm not going to put eggs out to hunt. I can't stand that stupid freaking holiday you people celebrate. You name it after a pagan god and use pagan practices. Now, mind you, it's nullified. Nobody knows what the heck it's for. And one of the big jokes is, why the Easter bunny? Why? I don't understand why there's an Easter bunny with eggs and all that good stuff. And it does sound better than, getting a jam of Smuckers and we're going to go find Jesus and you put the blood in the grass. Okay, so it's better taste, but easier for kids maybe. I get it. All right. But I find it disgusting. They don't know any better. And the kids have fun doing it. It's kind of harmless. It's like Halloween. Yeah, okay, you're All Hallows Eve, whatever. But for the most part, it's harmless. Nobody knows what it's for. But they still call it Easter Sunday just to say the name of that God out of your lips. And It's silly. It's some holdover from Rome who just couldn't permeate that area of the world, I guess, and fix it like they wanted to fix everything else. Why am I easy on the Christians in general, though? Because when you go into these Noahide debates or when you hear people speaking, they will trash the Christians like nothing else. And I don't. I won't trash Christians. I just don't do that. I'll smash that Jeebus idol to powder. But I myself, I don't believe in trashing the Christian for that. I think the Christians are good people, and I think right now in America we need that morality. We're going to split down the road. I get that, but on the base level, on the root, we need more people in church. We need stronger Christian families. I hate to say that. I would rather you keep 7 laws. I'd rather you study the Torah. I'd rather you accept who the Jewish people are and stop pretending you are Jews, like a lot of people believe nowadays. You're not grafted into smack. You're about as grafted as a fake schlong on a T person. You're about as grafted in like that Cher's offspring. What do you call it? Chaz. That's grafting. That's you. You're not. You're fake. You're Christians. You're good people. I'm not knocking you for being Christians. Not much. You could be better. You could do better. You could read the text and see there's more than one Son of God, and only one of them's here now. But I encourage the Christian. I'll smash that idol. But when they don't show up with an idol and all they want to do is have a barbecue, well, I'm supposed to just turn them away. Supposed to treat them like crap as secondary people, like a lot of Noahides do. These people really piss me off. Noahides piss me off. I mean, really do. Now, communists don't piss me off. They enrage me, Jews piss me off sometimes. Sometimes these rabbis will say stuff that you'll get a rabbi. I'm like, what? He's reformed. I don't care. Shut him up. Um, and I think Noahides often lose, Ben Noach folk often lose sight that these are human beings doing their best. And we have been fortunate enough to learn from God's chosen, from which to learn Torah. But I think we should go easy on them. I think that we're burning. I think that we're burning. We're burning bridges here that we don't need to burn. Same goes with Islam. It's easy to hate Islam because that's the only thing they want to be known for. Well, they did want to be known for the longest time. Was, we're out to kill the Jews, and we don't want the Jews dead, but we'll stand by Hezbollah. We'll stand by Hamas, by golly, because we can't stand with the Jews. We're Muslims. We're the new and improved chosen people of God. We're not Christians, but we're better. Same thing. You're not, but God makes you a great nation for a reason, and at least you know better than to worship a dead man on a stick as God. At least the Muslim knows better. And I go easy on them too, because things are changing. Things are changing in the world, and I got to change with them. So I encourage my Noahide friends and brothers and sisters to don't be so damn hateful on good people just because they deviate on a couple of things. For the most part, they're going to stand with you, and you're probably going to stand with them when push comes to shove. You're better off with Christians than alone. And I'm not saying that that Israel isn't there for you, but Israel is going through some stuff right now. They got to take care of business. Nothing wrong with teaching, nothing wrong with learning from a rabbi over there, but we got to let the Jews do what the Jews got to do. They're busy at the moment. They're a little, they're putting out a few fires, and I'm not. And yeah, there's a pun intended there a little bit. They've got a few. They're whack-a-moling right now. They're working. It's working. We're going to take care of business, but. As far as being in the West, and especially as an American, man, you don't need to be trashing Christians like you do. Okay, it's just not how it is. That's not what God would want you to do. No, God wants you to smash idols, and you should smash one if you're given possession of one. But these are good people, and they're doing their best. Besides, it's their Bible too. You're going to meet up on 4/5 of the whole story, so do so. All right. I'm done with my rants. Normally I shut up and we have other people talking here, but you're always welcome to join in. There in the chat is a link, Rumble Studio link. If you have a question, comment, complaint, suggestion, it is Haftorah time. Tazria-Metzora. Two. Tazria is one, Metzora is another. Two parshas. Double your pleasure. So the parsha today is, the Haftorah. For those of you tuning in for the first time, it's a section of the Hebrew Bible directly pertaining to this week's parsha, but it's not of the Torah. It's of the rest of the Hebrew Bible. Now, you have to forgive me here. My nose itches sometimes. My goodness, I'm on camera and I just can't itch. Well, I'm not professional at the moment, so I'm not paying it. Neither are you. So I get to wipe down and scratch my nose a little bit here. I have that sinus stuff going around. It kind of vibrates in your head, and you get that. And it just, So, eyeballs. Remembered, Rosalie, I got them. We're in Malachim 2, 2 Kings. 2 Kings, chapter 7 today. We're going to start on verse 3. And we're going all the way down to verse 20. Now, this week, we haven't even talked Parsha much, have we? This week in the Parsha, it's been everything from offerings to tsaras, a lot of ritual impurity. What it means to be ritually impure means you can't bring an offering. It doesn't mean you're less of a human being. It's, they have one ritual impurity, which talks about menstruation. She has to wear a barrier between herself and duh, there has to be a barrier there. Okay, we get that now, but to people 3 hairs away from Neanderthal, and then we have another kind of impurity, which is tsaras. Tsaras is, they call it leprosy, and that's how it's always been known in the Western world. When they look at it, when you read a King James Bible, I'm pretty sure it's leprosy is how it translates, and it's not the same thing that armadillos get and can pass to humans. Not the same thing. Tsaras, or tsara, is a well, all illnesses are spiritual or have a spiritual core. Tsaras is one you get for evil speech mainly. It's been from other things, but what you're going to get in Torah, because Miriam, when she spoke evil against Moshe, she got tsaras, and the whole camp had to wait for her to be clean days and days later. So, it's not just a disease. It's something you get if you're in the land of Israel, and you're an Israelite, your house can be afflicted with tsaras. That's where they have to pull everything out of your house, and everybody knows your house has tsaras, and you got your bed, your dresser, and you have to go in and clean the thing, and to get rid of this blemish on the walls, and it appears, and it's kind of humiliating. And when you speak evil, and then you have to be publicly called out for it, and then publicly excluded until your tsaras goes away, you have to go to the priest. That's who determines your sickness. And say go to a doctor, go to a learned man, says go to a priest. So check it out. This week's Torah portion, you can find a link in the description below in the book of Leviticus. I'm going to scratch my nose one more time. You're going to have to forgive me here. I've got to take care of this or I won't be able to read or do nothing. Let's get to it. 2 Kings chapter 7. Okay. Now there were 4 men stricken with tsaras at the entrance of the gate, and they said to each other, "Why are we sitting here until we die?" Hang on just a moment here. If we say that we will come into the city with the famine in the city, we will die there, and if we stay here, we will die. So now let us go and let us defect to the Aramean camp. Excuse me. If they spare us, we will live. If they kill us, we will die. And they arose in the evening to come to the Aramean camp, and they came to the edge of the Aramean camp, and behold, no one was there. Now the Lord had caused the Aramean camp to hear the sounds of chariots and the sounds of horses, the sound of a great army. And they said to one another, Behold, the king of Israel has hired for us the kings of the Hittites and the kings of the Egyptians to attack us. And they picked themselves up and fled at dusk, leaving behind their tents, their horses, and their donkeys, the camp as it was, and they fled for their lives. Now these Mizoraim, yes. Now this is why we need Jews in here. Now these Mezoraim came up to the edge of the camp, entered one tent, ate and drank, and carried off from there silver, gold, and clothing. And they went and hid them, and returned and entered another tent, and carried off from there, and they went and hid them. One said to another, We are not doing right. This day is a day of good news, yet we are keeping quiet. If we wait until daybreak, we will incur guilt. Now let us go and come and relate this to the king's palace. And they came and called to the gatekeepers of the city and told them, saying, We came to the Aramean camp, and behold, there is no man, nor the sound of a human, but the horses are tethered and the donkeys are tethered, and the tents were as they were. And he called the gatekeepers, and they related to the king's palace inside. Horse there. And the king arose at night and said to his servants, Now I will tell you what the Arameans have done to us. They know that we are hungry. So they left the camp to hide in the fields, saying, When they come out of the city, we will seize them alive and enter the city. Now one of his servants called out and said, Let them take now 5 of the remaining horses that are left there. Behold, they are like all the multitude of Israel that are left there. Behold, they are like all the multitude of Israel that have perished. And let us send, and we will see. So they took 2 riders of horses, and the king sent them after the Aramean camp, saying, Go and see. And they followed them up to the Jordan, and behold, the way was full of garments and vessels that the Arameans had cast off in their haste, and the messengers returned and related it to the king. And the people went out and plundered the Aramean camp, and a seah of fine flour was sold for a shekel, and 2 seahs of barley were sold for a shekel, according to the word of the Lord. Now the king appointed the officer upon whose hand he leaned over the gate, and the people trampled him, and he died, as the man of God had spoken, which he spoke when the king had come down to him. And it was when the man of God had spoken to the king, saying, 2 seahs of barley will be sold for a shekel, and a seah of fine flour will be sold at this time tomorrow in the gate of Samaria. That the officer answered the man of God and said, And behold, if God makes windows in the sky, will this thing come about? And he said, Behold, you will see it with your own eyes, yet you shall not eat therefrom. And so it happened to him, and the people trampled him at the gate, and he died. Thus ends the Haftorah. The man of God is Elisha, by the way. Reminds me of a Star Wars scene where Obi-Wan's walking up and gives off a hair-raising howl, and all the sand people get scared and run off because they thought there was this giant beast, and it's this little old man in a hood, and a little wizard-looking dude. Wonder where he got that idea. George Lucas was a Joseph Campbell fan, and Joseph Campbell's written some good stuff. Well, oh wait, somebody's here. It's Rosalie. Rose, I was just about to close this. How you doing, Rosalie? Are you there? Oh, I guess she left. Yeah, I guess she left. Well, it's about that time for me to leave as well. Folks, raise your children well. That's all I have to say. We're going to be back here next Thursday, God willing. Next Thursday, 8 p.m. Central, right here on Rumble. Also live streaming to YouTube and X at The Idol Smasher, one word. Love to have you join in. You're always welcome. That's why there's a link in the chat every time we do this show. We'll see you again on the other side. Shabbat shalom to all the fine folks of Israel. And here's to a better tomorrow. Victory in Israel, a strong Israel, and a more enlightened and prosperous and safer world for everybody. Shalom, everyone.